Hey guys, for this video we're going to try and get my horns to work on the 66 Caprice. And this setup is probably very similar for 30 years or something. So if you have an old Chevy or GM, hopefully this can help you out. So the horn has three components. You have the button, at the steering wheel, that's your switch. You have the relay, and then you have the horns themselves. So there's three things to check outside of just a general wiring problem, a broken wire or something. But first, let's check the horns. So at the horn, for my car, it's a green wire, and that is your power wire. You can see it's two green wires here because it goes into this horn and then loops down and goes to the bottom horn. The horns are grounded to the vehicle at the bracket here. So all you have is the power wire, which on mine is green. So we know we have a ground. If we give this power, we'll be able to tell if the horns are working or not. So I've hooked up a wire here. Make sure you're not touching a ground because we're going to give this power. So I hooked up the wire there, and this end I'm going to touch to the positive battery post. And if we hear a horn, the horns are working. The horns work. The next thing to check is the horn relay. So there it is. This red wire goes straight to the battery and always has 12 volts. This other post may go to some other accessory that has power. As you can see on my car, that's not used. Now, the relay grounds to the radiator support that's right here. So I already loosened the bolt a little bit so we can turn this sideways. And you can see there are two wires connected to terminals inside there. Now this green wire is a power wire, and that's what's going to the horns. So when you give this power, the horns go off, right? The other wire is the black wire. That's your ground coming from your steering wheel button. So when you hit your horn, it grounds this, which gives this power. That's what makes your horns go off. So what we're going to do to test the relay is disconnect the black wire coming from the horn, and we're going to give that a ground and see if our horns go beep beep. So I got myself a little alligator clip to ground there. Let's go into this here. Let me hook up my battery. Now I'm just going to ground it to the horn because that looks like a nice easy place to go. If we hear a beep, the relay's working. Relay works, horns work. Our last thing to test is the button at the steering wheel. Now we're going to use a multimeter to test for continuity to see if when we hit the button at the horn, we are actually making a connection here at the plug. So we have our multimeter set to continuity. We have one probe here. I got one going all the way through here. And with this steering wheel, the button actually grounds to the wheel itself. So when I hit the button, we should hear the multimeter chirp. So that means the horn button is working and it is connecting down to the plug at the relay. So here's what we've learned so far. The horns work. The relay works. The horn button works. We're getting power to the relay. The relay is grounded because when we hooked it directly up, it worked. Hooked it up to the battery, it worked. What we don't know if we have or not is a ground for the wire here coming from the steering wheel. So now I'm grounding the steering wheel. I have a alligator clip on the shaft of the brake pedal there, going right to the steering wheel. Horn works. Our problem is we are not getting ground here. At this point, we know our problem is the steering column is not grounded. So how does the steering column get grounded? It's through the rag joint there. So there is a copper strap. It could be either broken or just general corrosion over the years. It's not making a connection, but that is what grounds your steering column. So to test if our problem is a ground there, you say have the little alligator clip on that portion, and then I just have it running to this bolt here, which I know is a good ground. So let's go in the car and see if we have horns now. And we do. Now we need to figure out a permanent ground. So here's what I'm coming up with for a solution to our ground problem. You can see the little wire that I added. The bolt to the left has a good ground all the time. The connection at the right does not. So that's how we're jumping it across. But now let's just see if it works. Connect the battery. Works. And although the horn works, it doesn't sound very impressive, so I'm still investing in some new horns, but I'm going to have to do some searching. At least it works. Thanks for watching.